Hey everybody, Meg Ruler 31 from FSI DFS back here to break down this 8-game slate for Maine starting at 7:07. So we got 2 more minutes to mess up our lineups tonight. Usual locks at 7:05. If you're looking for the early coverage, McKinley 412 did a great job on that. So just pause this video, go to our channel, check that one out, and then come back and finish watching this one for the night slate. So I'm going to quickly go over pitchers and stacks, going to quickly run through the games, and then I really want to spend some time on builds today because there's a lot of different ways to go, especially if you're trying to get some of these stud pitchers in. So that's the good news. We've got 4 really strong pitchers tonight. We've got DeGrom, who looks to be okay. I know there was a mild injury concern, but doesn't look like there's pitch count or anything. Great matchup against the Cubs. Might be missing Chris Bryant. He got hit by a pitch last night. So if he's out, a lot of strikeouts here. They only have a 2.25 total. So definitely top pitcher on the slate. Garrett Cole has a tough matchup in Buffalo against the Blue Jays, but he'll probably be the second most popular pitcher. You might see a lot of people trying to pair DeGrom and Cole here. So we'll go over how you can try to make that work. I think my third favorite pitcher tonight, and probably I'm going to go DeGrom and this guy in cash games, is Zach Wheeler. He gets the Dodgers, who are really banged up now. Seager's on the DL or IL. You lost Muncy. Bellinger's out again. So it's just pretty much Betts and Turner and Lux and a whole bunch of other guys. So they've become a very average major league lineup. And again, their second string is probably better than a lot of people's first strings like the Marlins or Pittsburgh or things like that. So they're still a dangerous team, but this is a really good pitcher, very good against righties. So I really like him as my SP2 tonight if I'm paying up for an SP2. Then you have Kershaw on the other side of it, who I don't mind, but the Phillies have this lineup that the Philly, if it's the same lineup as last night, they just don't strike out as much. Lower in the lineup, yes, there could be some Ks there, but the lefties against Kershaw, I don't think they're going to hit him hard, but I'd rather save the $400 against a little bit more watered down lineup in the Phillies against the Dodgers instead of the Dodgers against Philly, who should pretty much be at full strength. So those are the top pitchers. If you want to save a little bit more, I think Ian Anderson comes in good against Boston. I've been stacking Boston a lot recently, and they've been doing good. They scored runs last night, but I think Ian Anderson is really going to shut them down here. They lose the DH, so that might take JD Martinez or somebody out of the lineup. I don't know who it's going to be, so we'll have to watch for that. Because they're playing in the National League Park, so you only have 8 batters and a pitcher there. So I think and Anderson's been a good strikeout pitcher. He's been strong this year, so definitely like him there. CV, I think, is okay to take against Baltimore. I think it's just kind of like a little bit too high priced in no man's land. I think if you want to go to this point, you're just going to go down to Ian Anderson. Like, why are you going to pay like 8-9 or, go up to Wheeler? So he's just in no man's land, but good pivot. Greinke, I think, kind of falls into the same situation. He's at 7.4, but I think really if you're in this range, unless you're going to pair him with Anderson, you really are just going to play Anderson here. But again, he's against Texas, and Texas has some power. He's almost been a little bit reverse splitsy at times, so that kind of negates the Texas power lefties. So I think Greinke's an okay play. He definitely has a high total, probably has win equity here. Has been decent, so I like him. But this again, I think Anderson is the play. So if you want to be different for $100, then I have no problem there. And I think DeSclafani is probably the lowest mid-range pitcher I like against Arizona. The Arizona lefties could be a little bit of trouble for him, but I think he'll be very solid against the righties. So and San Francisco seems to be hitting well also. Going down, there is actually a really good option tonight, and it's Bailey Uber, who has actually been really great in minor leagues. He's only 4.6K. He gets Seattle, who has been banged up a little bit too. I'll have to see if Hanger is back in the lineup, but like France, more like the righties here, just are probably should really struggle. The lefties, like Seager's always good. Crawford leading off. Jake Fraley back in the lineup too, hitting fifth. So there are some lefties here, but this guy has got great control, and I think he's going to go out there, and whether even if he only pitches like 60, 75 pitches, I think the bullpen is okay enough to hold the lead. Like I think he's definitely going to pay off his salary here. So I think this is somebody definitely that I would definitely look to pair with a high end pitcher and really open up some bats tonight, because some of them are expensive for these stacks that we're looking at. And the only other guy that I'd take a swing at potentially would be Robert Stock. He is up against the Mets, who are not the greatest hitting team here. He's been a reliever. He's been solid in AAA, just like a little bit high on the walks, but the bullpen behind him is pretty good. So I think if he does make it to qualify for a win, if he does make it 5 innings, if he does get stretched out that much to make it through, and he could hold on for the win. But I think at 4K, you're really not asking for much. The Mets, yes, they can hit, but they're not the best, and sometimes some of these bullpen arms come out and just get a couple strikeouts and pay off the 4K, and then we're good. And like I said, the bullpen's probably going to hold it. So if you have to have 1 or 2-1 lead, again, you'd have to make it 5 to qualify for the win. Don't know if that's going to happen, but again, this is GPP only. This isn't a cash play. And Uber, maybe in cash, I could take a shot on him, but I think in cash, I'm going DeGrom and Wheeler. Okay, so that's on pitchers. Stacks. I like Houston against Lyles and the Rangers, especially lefties. Brantley, Alvarez, favorite plays. Tucker, if he's in and back. If he's not, McCormick might be a good cheap play to throw into that stack, but we'll get to that in stacks a little bit later. Atlanta, Garrett Richards has given up so much hard contact that they seem to be good. Freeman, Albies just seems really cheap at 4-3. Riley, Swanson, I'll take a shot on Almonte 2 at 2-3. New York Yankees profile really well in the smaller ballpark at AAA1 against Ross Stripling. He has been severe reverse splits this year, so you got to love the righties, and that's mostly what the Yankees are. So Judge and Torres, if you can't afford them, Stanton, Urshela, Andujar, and Higgy should catch for Cole. He's a great option too there at only 2.7, a right-handed bat with some power. Cleveland would be the next one. I know Keegan Allen did shut them down a little bit ago, but I think, and I know Jose Ramirez had a bagel last night in a great matchup, but I think he bounces back today. I know 6K is a lot to pay for him, so if you want to skip him to the stack, I completely understand. But Rosario, Cesar Hernandez, who again is optional for the stack, but I'll get that in a minute when we get the stacks. Harold Ramirez should move up in the batting order. Eddie Rosario seems to be solid no matter what side. And then some of these lower guys, if Clement or Miller or Riviera are in, I think they work with the stack, but they might be pinch hit for. So you have to kind of watch for that. Medium range GPP stack, San Francisco lefties. Miracle is decent, but the lefties have been good. So I like Wade, I like Yastrzemski, I like Crawford, Belt, Talkman. They all make a really nice stack there for a relatively cheap price. Garrett Cole has had his issues at times, so the Blue Jays makes sense too. They don't really have lefties against him, so I just pay the normal guys there. But Tellus does make a good cheap if you're not playing Cole, if you're punting first base at 2-3, and in some of the builds that works. So we'll get to that in a bit. Minnesota righties. Seattle has struggled, so I would go full stack here, but Polanco, Donaldson, Cruz, Jeffers at catcher, I think he is one of my favorite plays at 2.8. I've always loved these Minnesota catchers. They seem to do really well, and Jeffers has some power, and 2.8 is not a bad price for him. And then Boston, again, I think this is just a ownership play. If there's a lot of guys playing DFS is a universal sport. Can't just say it's guys. But if there's a lot of people playing Ian Anderson as their SP2, then taking some of the lefties like Verdugo and Devers, even though Ian Anderson's a ground ball pitcher and Verdugo's a ground ball hitter, so I might not be looking for a lot of power there, but maybe you could hit one in the gap and get some runs. So I think they're probably my least favorite stack out of the 8 teams that I would stack for a GPP. But if you're looking for some cheap ones, again, if there's some ownership in DeStefani, the Arizona lefties, again, a mini stack, I just look at probably Rojas, Martes, Escobar, Smith up top, maybe even Peralta. I'd skip like Christian Walker in the stack there. Seattle potentially against the new pitcher, if you think he's going to have high ownership at his cheap price as SP2, take some of the lefties there. Mets against the bullpen game here. I think, they're another cheap option. And then if you really want to go for some of the stacking, the Texas Rangers against Greinke, if you don't think that he is going to do well and think that they can get to him a little bit. Again, remember, he's more of a little bit of a reverse splits guy, so the righties, but I think just stack any of them. They're cheap. You're going for the GPP anyways. I wouldn't make them a secondary stack with a main stack, but if you just want to stack them, I think they're the final option. I wouldn't consider playing the bats in the Phillies game or the Dodgers game because you have 2 really good pitchers there. And then the Cubs, I mean, if you want to go completely YOLO against DeGrom, if you think he's still hurt, if you think he's not going to last, and anything can happen in baseball, then that'd be the absolute like $1 only GPP play. I'm okay with that, but I think that pretty much covers all the pitchers and the hitters. So let's look at how we're going to make this work. So Cole and DeGrom, if you start with them and you want to stack the Yankees, I think you can do it if you take Higgy at catcher, if you take D. LeMahieu, Urshela, Torres, and then you have to pick Stanton or Judge. You can't pick both of them. If you want to drop Jarrett Cole down to Ian Anderson or another one of the 7K pitchers or Uber, then it could work to get both Stanton and Judge in there. But you're still going to have to kind of punt at first base. Dahlbeck is projected to play, but again, we don't know what's going to happen with the whole DH situation with the Red Sox because of losing that being in the National League Park. But if Dahlbeck's in there at 2K, he's a good one. If you're not playing Cole, then Tellis at 2-3 works there. Also, for outfield, like some cheap ones, I'm looking at more for Seattle is at 2-6 is a good situation. He fills in for second base or outfield today, kind of like that. If you're looking for some other cheap outfielders, DJ Stewart is in a okay matchup. I can see playing him. Miller from Cleveland, again, might be a pinch hit risk, but they've got a good matchup against Aiken. He's got the split advantage. He's only 2.2K. He fills in for first base or second base. So if you move DJ LeMahieu to like third, if you don't play third baseman for the Yankees, there's some you can even throw Gardner in if you want to go cheap, even though Stripling's a reverse split guy. Maybe against the bullpen, batting ninth, wraparound stack thing. I think that kind of could work also for you. So I think there are some options out there. If Wilkerson's in at second base, also if you move LeMahieu around, he's at mid price. So there's options to make it work if you go both Cole and DeGrom and try to get the Yankees stack in. I think I like a Cole and DeGrom and a Cleveland stack. But then you have to make your choices. So you definitely want J-Ram there. You definitely taking Rosario, Ramirez, and both Rosarios. But then you have to decide, are you going to play Hernandez? Because I think that really changes like what the rest of your lineup looks like. If you don't take Hernandez and you throw like Moore in there or a cheap second baseman and punt it, then I can throw in a secondary Seattle stack there and get a decent just under 3K catcher. Like I said, Jeffers, I kind of like that. If you do play Hernandez, then You really have to kind of punt. I think you can get like a lower owned Arizona mini stack in there with that type of build. Like I said, I think my favorite one is going to be DeGrom and Wheeler. And then with the Yankee stack, taking Higgy and DeLemayhew and Torres, you can get Stanton and Judge. Third base is open there. Some decent options like Baum is he might be batting fifth in the order against Kershaw. I know it's a little risky, but he does have some power. So it's definitely possibly an opportunity to do it there. Franco is pretty cheap at 2.4 to fill in at third base potentially. Looking at the outfield again, DJ Stewart, Moore. Minnesota has a couple guys. I think Larish is pretty cheap too there. First base would be also open that build. Dahlback, you can try Tellis also. He's at 2.3 if you're not playing. Obviously, you're not playing Cole, so there's a power bat against him potentially. If you're looking at to drop down and do the DeGrom and Uber, I think you can get like a full Houston stack in there. Again, I'm going to start with the lefties. I'm going to go Alvarez. I'm going to go Brantley. I'm going to go Tucker. I know that takes up the outfield. If Tucker is not in and McCormick's in, I'd consider him. If not, I'd just leave it open and I'd throw in the shortstop Correa there, because then that correlates better. It fills in more. There's less gaps there. I don't think I'm playing Altuve in any scenario unless I'm really going down and paying down for both pitchers, because just the pricing and the correlation of the stack. I want to try to get some of the lefties that are down further in. I'm okay playing Gurriel in there, Bregman. So I'm probably looking to try to get like 3 through 7 in for the stack. And then I take Higgy as catcher. If I do drop down to Uber and play this, I get Houston. I can fill in with Yankees there. And that works pretty nice to get 2 of the better stacks in with a really good pitcher. And if you drop down from DeGrom to like Cole, you can get it's going to leave you in the ideal build catcher, shortstop, and second base open, and you'd have to drop down to Cole to get the full Yankee stack. But if not, you can get 2 Yankees and there's another shortstop in a really good situation that you'll find in that price range, so you'll know who it is exactly when you see it, and you can plug it right in that type of build. The FIDO build I kind of like. And I guess this would be more of a GPP. I wouldn't play it in cash, but I love how it comes together. If you take your pitchers as Anderson and Wheeler, you can get a stack of Atlanta in, who we really like against Richards tonight. You can get Freeman, Albies, Donaldson's not in Atlanta anymore, Swanson, and Acuna. And then you'd have to figure out if you want Riley at third or if you wanted to go with somebody else. And then, or you could take Lamonte, who's pretty cheap there, batting 6 at 2.3 if he's in the lineup. And then you can fit in a Minnesota stack with that build there. So fill in the rest of them, or there's other stacks that work well with that too. So gives you a lot of options. But again, I think my favorite build tonight is going to be the DeGrom and the Wheeler. As pitcher, I'm going to take the Yankees, and then I'm going to fill in with some one-offs that I like. I'm not going to have a secondary stack, but it's going to give me DeLemayhew, Torres, Judge, Stanton, and Higgy at catcher. And then I'm going to take 3 one-offs at first, third, or outfield, or DeLemayhew I might play around with because he's got multi-position eligibility. So I'll just have to see how the lineups come out. So thanks for watching. I love breaking this stuff down for you. And if you like it and think it could help other people, if the more likes you give us, the more it boosts us up in the YouTube ratings and makes us more visible for other players to find us. So we appreciate that. Subscribe to our channel so you know when our videos coming out, and you can see all the other great content that we have out there for you to help you. We got PGA's got a major coming up, so TK and crew have a video for that. I know we'll have NASCAR this weekend, 3 races. We're covering the EuroLeague soccer every single day. I heard Gator was really sick, but still powered through that video and was able to give you the great content that he always comes up with. And so many other guys working so hard for this WNBA, cover the NBA playoffs. We got so many things out there for you guys, all for free. So continue to watch your videos, like, subscribe, recommend to some friends. And then if you want to check us out, check out the bio link below. And you can see what our premium package is. Just join one sport on FSI to get cores and direct help in our Discord. Even just join our Discord. There's so many free things in there also to offer you guys to help you guys out. And then we also have like a VIP package, which is very low compared to some of the other competitors out there. It gives you every single sports for the whole month. We're here to help. So reach out to me on Twitter at MegaRuler31. Check out McKinley's early video, and be back tomorrow to give you some more advice. So thanks for watching, and hope you have a great night in baseball.